Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today to talk about the visual and performing arts at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall School. We're going to give one moment for folks to trickle into the Zoom room and then we'll get started. But thank you all for being here. Okay, so to make best use of our time, I think we're going to dive in and get started. Again, thank you all for joining us this evening to talk about the visual and performing arts here at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall School. My name is Catherine Saunders. I'm Director of Enrollment Management here at CHCH, and we're really excited to welcome you to learn more about one of the many arrays of academics and co-curricular activities here at our school. A brief introduction to our school before we get started. We are Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall School. We're a college preparatory day and boarding school located just 10 miles outside of Boston, Massachusetts, with just over 200 students. We are known to challenge students academically, socially, and interpersonally. And with over 100 years of rich history, we ask students to lead with empathy and cultivate curiosity here. And you're going to learn a lot about the student experience through the eyes of visual and performing arts here tonight. But before we get started, I would love for our panelists to introduce themselves. So I will hand it over to Jamie Palmer Keating.
Okay, hi everyone and welcome. My name is Jamie Palmer Keating. I'm the chair of the Visual and Performing Arts Department, and this is actually my 14th year at the school. Clearly, I really like it here. I teach publications and AP Studio Art, and I'll pass it along to Becca.
Hello, my name is Becca Lacoste. I am the theater program director here at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall. I run the co-curricular theater program as well as teach a theater class during the academic day. I also teach SAS, Skills and Academic Strategies. I live on campus and this is my 11th year. Chris?
Hi, everyone. I think that's my cue. I'm Chris Abrams. I apologize, my video does not seem to be working tonight, but I am happy to join you via audio. This is my 7th year at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall. I teach in the visual arts department with Ms. Palmer Keating. And specifically, I teach the Intro to Visual Arts classes, 2 sections of that right now, primarily for 9th and 10th graders, but also for a few upper class students who still need to satisfy an arts requirement or have an interest maybe in taking the class as an elective. I also teach the art history course, which is primarily for seniors. In addition to that, I am also the 12th grade dean. If you are looking over our credentials, you'll find that we tend to wear a lot of hats. As it happens, I am also the boys JV soccer coach and the director of our school's makerspace.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And Sarah, would you like to introduce him?
Yeah, sure. My name's Sarah Antonetti. I'm a day student I'm from Walpole, Massachusetts. I transferred to Chapel mid-sophomore year from Bishop Feion High School, and in middle school I went to Blessed Sacrament. At Chapel I do a lot of stuff. I play volleyball in the fall. I do theater in the winter and spring. I attend clubs like Film Club and Feminist Club I'm really a part of. I'm a part of our National Honor Society. And our Cavalry, which makes, these panels happen, which is awesome. And where I play into in this visual arts meeting, I am a big artist. I'm an AP art. I have taken a lot of art classes at Chapel, and I'm part of theater. So we have our winter musical going on right now, which is pretty awesome. Me and Iris play Donna and Sophie in Mamma Mia. It is February 6th, 7th, and 8th if you guys want to come. It's gonna be pretty awesome. Oh, Iris, if you want to.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Okay, so hi, my name is Iris, and I'm an international student. This is my 2nd year here, and now I'm a junior. I'm from China, and in CHCH, I've participated in JV volleyball, JV tennis, and this winter I'm also, yeah, as Sarah said, I'm also in winter musical. I'm playing Sophie, and I'm also the leader of musical club, and I'm also taking vocal ensemble class here because I'm a big music fan. I love music. I love singing. I love musical, and that's. I'm also a part of National Honor Society and Cavalry, which is why I attend this webinar. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you all for your wonderful introductions. So at this point in time, we're going to move into our presentation of the Visual Informing Arts departments here at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall, and then we'll have plenty of time at the end to answer your questions. So feel free to start thinking about questions and adding them to the Q&A, and we're happy to get to them right after our presentation. But without further ado, I'll pass it over to Jamie.
All right, so hi again. I would love to take you through an overview of what we offer here, both in our day programs, our academic programs, and in the after-school program. I will bump it over to Becca and Chris to jump in here and there, but I'm going to start off, if we could go to the next slide, with just our faculty. We have a wonderful group of faculty who are very passionate about what they do here. All of us are artists, musicians, performers in our own right. And we also, so we practice what we teach, and we try to bring that love of our medium, our specialty into our classroom. So looking here, I have, looking at these wonderful faces, they've all been here for a while, with the exception of Mike, who is a new add with the guitar. He also gets to teach in the SAS department, so he gets to meet a lot of students. Po Chun is the director of our international program, and she's also teaching an instrumental ensemble. And then Luke Diorio is actually a former student of ours who came to replace the the teacher who taught him photography in high school. So, a lot of wonderful people here. Alana, our music teacher, she teaches all of our piano classes and our guitar classes, and she helps with the winter musical as a musical director. So you'll see a couple of other faces you recognize from the panel. And then, of course, Miss Doolin, who is in our sculpture and ceramics department, but also head of the boys dorm on campus, does some coaching. All of us do lots of things. But this is just a look, and then we can jump into sort of what the classes are that we offer. In the visual arts, we have this really amazing support for the arts at our school. So we ask that all of our students take 2 years of art with us. And that could be visual, performing, a combination of the two, or if a student really wants to focus in one area, they can. But they are committed to a full year with us. So we don't do trimester or semester-based classes. It's a full year, same group of students, same teacher, really diving into the material. So this is really, I think, one of the most wonderful things that we do at our school, because for students who love art and come to us because they want to pursue their love of art or performance, they get to do that. For students who haven't had that opportunity, they get to try that out. So it's really amazing that they have all of these choices to come in and say, hey, I'm interested in photo. What's that about? They go into Luke's class, former, student class of 2010, to say, hey, I'm interested in Photoshop. I'm interested in using a DSLR camera. Can you tell me more? And that's a year of that, exposure, no pun intended, to this kind of amazing medium that these students maybe have never tried before. So having said all of that, they have options, right? So we have intro level courses like Mr. Abrams teaches. We have sculpture, ceramics for students who really love that kind of get your hands dirty, get right in there, get messy. But then we also have that stuff that might occur in the digital world, in the digital arts lab, where we teach digital photography, video production, photo, publications. Of course, I teach, which is graphic design based. And we use all of the Adobe programs that we really want students to learn because they are applied outside of school. So students are learning Adobe Photoshop and InDesign and Premiere Pro so that they can go to college or to a job and actually know how to use the programs they're using in those spaces. So we are really trying to prepare our artists to go out in the world with real applicable skills. So co-curricularly, we have Makerspace in the winter trimester, and Theater Tech I included here as a visual arts opportunity because it is building sets. But we'll come back to that with Chris and Becca in a few minutes. So moving through, you'll see just some examples of student work. Some of our students are coming to us with 0 experience, as I mentioned, and some with a lot more. So, an intro level course on the left-hand side image, that might have been a student who'd never picked up a pencil before, it could be someone who is just needing to learn, refresh the foundations of how do you draw, how do you use charcoal, and then they're really working on all of those foundational things in that class. Moving through, they try to make their way, if they're interested in visual arts, to the advanced 2D and 3D course, which you'll see an example on the right. This is sort of our pre-AP course. All students going into our advanced portfolio or AP studio course have to take this class. They are applying the foundations at a higher level. They are working in 3D materials and 2D materials. So by the time they get to me in the studio art program, they know what they want to specialize in. You can head to the next slide if you could, Catherine. This on the left-hand side would be an example of that advanced work that's being done. So this student on the left had come through our foundation classes through advanced 2D, 3D, all the way up to AP. And was also a student, coincidentally, who was a musician and wanted to do music as well. So she pursued music while she was at our school. In addition to her visual arts, she performed at all of our performances. She made artwork, and she pursued that in art school following our program here. Paired with this is art history. So I'm actually going to ask Chris to jump in here in a second. We ask our AP students to take art history at the same time. We want our students to gain this understanding of the art world that has come before them, that is happening now in the contemporary art world, and how that can apply to the work that they are making, and so that they can understand the work that they are seeing in the world around them. So Chris teaches this class. And I'd love for him to jump in and just give a really brief, Chris, like kind of just general idea of what you guys are trying to do in that class and how it's important to that program, the AP program.
Yeah, thanks, Jamie. I'm happy to do that. I feel pretty lucky for a whole variety of reasons to be here in this department. First of all, when I first arrived here, I thought that it was really great that students are required to have 2 years in the arts. This is not the same as a lot of other schools. I think it's something that really distinguishes us. And there are a variety of reasons why I really support that idea. I mean, of course, I'm a practicing artist myself, so I'm a little bit biased to begin with. But there are a few other reasons that I'm happy to elaborate on it as we move on tonight. I also feel pretty lucky because I get to deal with students in a way that I feel kind of bookends their experience here at the school. I see a lot of students come through the Intro to Visual Arts program as 9th and 10th graders, where again, as Jamie was talking about, we introduce them to some of the basics. They get a little bit of instruction in a little bit of everything, kind of two-dimensional. Students did a little bit of drawing work at the beginning of the year in the fall trimester. We moved into the winter trimester where they are now working on drawing from observation. They'll learn linear perspective, color theory, and they're going to do a variety of projects, different media. This will all culminate this winter with a big painting project. And then we're going to move on to some printmaking and a few other things in the spring. So they're getting a really good sort of base. If they don't have one already. If they do have one already, they're allowed to and encouraged to really move beyond that and get into some, some more involved challenges. But then at the same time, I also get to see most of the people who are seniors who are involved in the art history class. The art history class is paired with the AP Studio class, so many of the students are in both. And so at the same time, again, as Jamie was describing, at the same time that they are developing some visual skills, they are also learning a little bit about how not only to kind of break down and understand some of the visual experiences that they might encounter, maybe at a gallery or a museum or some other show. We talk about a little of everything. Sarah's in the class, and I think she can attest to the idea that not only are we looking at paintings and drawings, but every once in a while we're talking about television shows or even music or something like that, and really trying to develop a set of skills that we can use to sort of approach a new experience and not only be able to describe it, but to start to determine a little bit more about what it means. So Sarah and her classmates right now in the art history class are involved in a variety of research projects where they're having to go back and look at a little bit of the history and maybe the context of some of the exemplars that we're looking at in the class, that we're examining in the class, and really understand how all of those influences together can kind of influence the way that we interpret something. And I think that that's a skill that they will use, of course, in the art history class itself, but they can also take beyond to the AP Studio class, or even beyond that to maybe an English class or another history class, something like that. And in addition, because it's primarily seniors, we're really also focused on the idea of developing some skills that they will use when they move on next year to the college level. So again, like I love the experience because for me, I get to see the beginners and I get to see the people who are really advanced along the way. And it's a really nice pairing. It's nice to see that arc of their experience through their time here at CHCH.
Thanks, Chris. I think that's a great kind of just example to share, with the art history paired with the AP. With all of our art courses, we are trying to integrate them into what the students do in every part of Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall. So we are often doing work with other classes. We are sharing our ideas and our artwork with others. We are learning skills in the art classes that we can take into those science classes and those labs. And whether it's poster development, whether it's just bigger concept work, students are able to apply the work that they're doing in the arts, hopefully everywhere at their experience here. Just another kind of one more point. So if a student is interested in pursuing visual art, they are kind of put on the trajectory from intro all the way up through. It doesn't mean they can't try out other classes if they have room in their schedule. Say they want to get to that AP point. That is a student who loves art so much that they want to focus in on a sustained investigation for a full year. So Sarah's doing that work right now. She has focused on a specific topic. I'm going to have her tell you about it in about 2 seconds. But I'm warning her that I'm going to have her tell you in 2 seconds. But this is an example from a student portfolio a couple of years ago, where they have had all this work leading up to their senior year to spend the time understanding who they are as an artist and then pursue that artistry in their senior year to really define what medium they really love and want to work in, to define that conceptual work they want to make, and explore that singularly in their senior year. So Sarah, in just a couple of minutes, could you tell us about your AP focus right now and maybe what you've gained from it so far? Your project at Project 7. So you are halfway through your portfolio. Tell us a little bit about the experience as well.
Yeah, so what's great about AP art, obviously it pushes you to create fast and completed works of art, but it's what you want to create and it's what you want to study. So there's almost no guidelines, go produce art, produce your art. And what's I've been looking at, and I was actually inspired by my old English class, my art history. My history class paper about feminism. And I have an artist brain. I'm constantly thinking about, what to make. And I was like, I really want to create works of art on how girlhood has affected me and just key parts of what it is like growing up as a girl in this generation, because I think it really does make a difference. On how we grow up as women in the society. So I'm kind of following through that lens through my pieces. Some of them are pretty silly, and lighthearted, like having a best friend and, painting each other's nails and, shopping, whatever. And then I'm also diving into some of those deeper aspects like heartbreak and loss and kind of being broken down by society. So it's just really awesome to dive into not only what I want to create, but also what I kind of want to study in college. I want to study, psychology and childhood. It's almost like everything's connected. I'm talking about everything right now, but I'm doing an independent study in childhood development. So I'm kind of intertwining my childhood development with the art I'm making, with my own experiences. So I think that's a good summary of what I'm doing.
That's perfect, Sarah. Thank you. And when you all want to come and visit in the spring to see Sarah's completed portfolio, we have a senior AP show in May to display all the work they've done. I'm conscious of the time, and I don't want to hog the spotlight just for visual arts and give Becca time to talk about performance. But just briefly, here's a couple examples of some of our ceramic work. Catherine, we can pop through these if you'd like. Photography work, so students being able to take those cameras home, go on, around campus or whatever the assignment might be. They are taking portraits, they are taking wildlife, they are doing light, working with like understanding how to edit the photos and use Lightroom, and like how do you get a composition put together. So we can pop to the next one. Film, I don't have an example to show you, but that is another fun one where we have film night showing off the student work in the spring. I teach a class called Publications. We create the yearbook. These are 2 of our award-winning books that students design cover to cover. They are doing everything in InDesign and Photoshop. So they are learning not only design for publishing, but layout. They are understanding how a book is made. And then they're taking those skills that they learn in 2/3 of the year and applying them to graphic design projects in the spring that are choice-based. So we can pop to the next one. Just another example of this wonderful student work from a few years ago on the AP track. We can pop to the next. And again, a continuation of that portfolio. You saw some of her work before. So at this point, I'm going to just briefly tell you about music and then have Becca take on theater. But we do offer a number of music courses at our school. So these are for students that are interested in music and have never touched an instrument, or students who have experience with an instrument and want to pursue their instrument or just try a different one. We offer instrumental ensemble. So a student who might come in with their instrument can pair in an ensemble with other students. That is led by Po Chun. They put together music, they perform. All of our students perform at 2 shows in the winter and the spring concert. So an opportunity to show off what they've learned. We have guitar classes, we have piano classes, and then we have vocal ensemble where students sing and do those performances as well in the winter and the spring. So that's where I'm going to stop, and I'm going to throw it to Becca. Becca, take it away with Introduction to Theater class and then jumping into the after school.
Sure. Thank you, Jamie. So I've been here for 11 years. Theater is something that has always been a passion of mine. I grew up performing my whole life, thought it was going to be like my life course, and realized for me, 8 shows a week wasn't what I wanted. But I knew that the love of theater was something I needed to keep in my life and keep that track going. And I'm so grateful that I am here and get to have 4 opportunities really over the course of the year to share that passion and love for theater. So the first is the Introduction to Theater class, which is an academic day class, fills the art requirement for your year. It is an introductory class, but we have students of all levels in it because theater is something like the visual arts where there is continual growth. And so a student might be fairly new to it, and a student might be needing to brush up on some of those skills or whatever it is. So the Intro to Theater class starts with voice and diction. So we are starting the fall trimester, learning the very basics of breath support and how the mouth works and how the air comes up through the mouth, and then builds into character study and acting technique. How do all of those things translate to tell a story and to get your point across? And the nice thing about that is that eventually one of the things that every student needs to do is participate in their senior presentation. And that is something they do either in front of the whole school, that we have a day where some of the students choose to do it in a little bit more of a workshop setting, but every student in every aspect of their academic life, including their senior presentation, needs to be able to speak in front of a crowd. So in a way, this class is a great way for them to enhance that opportunity to learn a little bit more about how to breathe from the diaphragm and express the points that you're trying to make. So regardless of the acting piece of it, it is also a great tool for further in their careers, in their lives, in their senior presentation. And then in the winter trimester, we touch upon the aspects of technical theater. So we are looking at set design and lighting design and costume design and all of the elements that come together. And actually, it's really awesome because it's integrating all of these kind of art vocabulary as well, because it is so, which is why it's kind of tucked also into like a visual art co-curricular opportunity. We have so many students who, which I'll talk about in a bit, in our theater tech program co-curricular wise, that are incredible artists. And it's a great way for them to continue honing those artistic skills. So we do a little bit of that in the winter. And then in the spring, we focus more on production. So working together to create one piece. Last year's performing the theater class had a student who wanted to write his own play. And he had this incredible idea. And he wrote this 10-minute play, and then all of our people in the class performed it. We had a small audience come in and witness his work in workshop form, and it was entirely beautiful. And what a great opportunity for him to be able to write a piece and be able to share it and have the words come off of the page and into the stage. So that is the theater class, that academic day class. And then the co-curricular program happens all 3 trimesters. So we have a fall play, a winter musical, and a spring play. And Sarah can speak to the winter and the spring, and Iris can speak to the winter, as you heard before. These are a no-cut program. So if a student has interest in being in performance, in trying out on stage, they can. We want them to. And we have students of all levels in our program, students who have never done it before and students who have been doing it for a very long time. And everyone is entirely welcome. We, particularly in the musical, we have a choreographer this year. And so we're starting every day with Zumba. There's a little bit of that going on, and then getting to dancing and getting to singing and all the things. So we've been having a real blast with that this time because we're doing Mamma Mia. But the co-curricular program is a great place for students who have been doing it for a very long time to continue to hone those skills. We hold auditions so that we can place everyone appropriately. And there are some students who really prefer to be in the ensemble, and that's okay. And we just want you to take the opportunity to try something new and be a little brave. We also have our theater tech program, and that obviously runs concurrently. They are doing all of the set building and all of the lighting design and all of the costume design. And they are really running the show so that when we are ready for showtime, the adult directors are a little bit hands off. It's really important that we give the students the opportunity to shine, to give the opportunity to try really hard and make mistakes and try again and have a blast, and really take ownership over that part of themselves and what they have brought to the table. And, really focusing in on how much practice can make you feel really confident. That's kind of a really big part of, I think, what we do. And I don't know if Sarah or Iris want to jump in and kind of talk about the co-curricular program a little bit and what that's been like for you. I would love for you to share a little bit of that if you want to. Maybe Iris?
Okay, so this winter musical co-curricular for me, it's like a very great opportunity to showcase myself. And like last year, I also did winter musical, and that was my first time being on a theater or like performing, because when I was in middle school, like when I was in China, in public school, we basically have no chance to do like theater. At that time, I can't even imagine we can actually put on a show, like the whole musical stuff. And the opportunity and the musical and those experience, it's totally new for me. But teachers and students there, they are very supportive. They encourage me, and I feel like I gained more confidence while I was doing the musical. And also, I feel like they really offer us a lot of chance because so English is my second language, and I can't even believe that they gave such a big role to me this year because it's kind of tough for second language speaker to do the to lead a main role in an English musical, but they still give me the chance, and I really appreciate that. And I feel like the whole experience is wonderful, and they respect everyone in the theater. Last year, the show time was the exact same day as Lunar New Year, so they decorated the theater for the Asian students to celebrate Lunar New Year together. That was very warm, and I feel like the High School Musical experience is gonna be my greatest memory here. Yeah.
Thanks for saying that. I don't know if, sorry, Sarah, if there's anything you want to add to that just quickly.
I mean, I don't know how I can top that. That's but I've been doing musical theater like my whole life. It's been my whole world. So I personally, from transferring from like a huge high school, I knew I wanted like a smaller high school because I didn't think I was getting as much as like opportunity to like really show what I can do or like have like there just wasn't a lot of opportunity. So coming to Chapel and having like this small tight-knit group of theater people um that listen to you and that, like I said, give you so many opportunities. And it's just so nice, like that it's the size of the community. Like I remember I was having a rough day and like left rehearsal early. I think every single um teacher in the theater program came up to me the next day and asked me how I was. And I could have never imagined like that would happen, especially like every single one of them coming up to me. And so I just think what's really special about our theater program not only is that everybody wants to be there and everybody gets a chance to shine, but like people care about you and they want to see you succeed and they want to see you experiment with different roles and everything. And it's really nice.
Thanks, Sarah. That's all I have for that. I can't top all of that. So yeah. Here's some more photos of the winter concerts, where there are the guitar ensemble and individual piano performances. In the past, we've also had like the bells and all kinds of other instruments come out of the woodwork, but we should really try to, I think, cater to what the students are bringing to the table in terms of the music program as well, right? Really focusing in on what their what they can bring, what instrument they're already bringing, or trying something new. We have many students who have never played piano before, and who get up in front of a large group of people and play, a short song, and that is miraculous in itself for so many of them. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So these are just some highlights from some shows. Actually, the one in the middle was happened when our barn, the visual and performing arts space was under construction. And so this was actually in a totally different area of the school. Like, I think one of the things that for all of us, for all of the visual and performing arts, is that we really try and think outside the box and continue to give the opportunities as much as humanly possible, so that we are never denying students the opportunity to continue to hone their skills and do the things that they want to be doing, even when the space is limited. Yeah. I don't know if Jamie, you want to hop back onto this part.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, Becca and Iris and Sarah and Chris. I think just kind of pulling all of our points together, and then we're going to give you time to ask questions and for students to give us more input. But basically, some of the things I think that set us apart as a program are the fact that we really want our students to commit themselves to 2 years of arts with us. And whether that turns into 3 or 4 years, that is entirely up to the student, but they have the opportunity. Our classes are full year, so they are not, in these shorter sessions like a trimester or a semester where students can't really like get the full scope of the medium that they're deep diving into. We have this natural progression for students to build up to an AP art studio, kind of focus and or photography. We didn't really talk much about that, but we've had students go to a level 3 and 4 photography if they are interested. And then students who are pursuing music certainly can continue to pursue music at those kind of advanced levels. We do have one thing called the Distinguished Diploma in the Arts. So this is something where students can really focus on kind of going the extra step with their visual arts work. They can also do this with music. Sarah is one of our candidates this year and one of 4 this year who will be engaging in the process and is already doing that in working with summer course requirements, doing advanced portfolio work, taking all of the art electives that she can, and then additionally doing a community art piece that will add her visual skills back to her community at home. And then she'll present all of the work that she's done over the course of her time with us and some before to a panel of faculty who will assess whether she has earned this distinguished diploma. And then if she meets those requirements and those GPA requirements, which I'm positive she will because she's awesome, we will be able to present her with this distinguished diploma at graduation. So it's just another feather in her cap for this work that she is passionate about doing. So that is something. We also have this new building. Becca mentioned it. I mean, it's new as of 2020, but it's still very, very brand new to us. This epic kind of renovation that brought us all these amazing new spaces, studio spaces, maker space, ceramic studio wing, music and practice rooms, and this epic theater. I used epic twice, but it is epic that we have all this amazing space. And having like room this year as we are doing another construction project on campus, we have other classes joining us in this space. We have math classes meeting in our theater space or near our theater space, and those students are getting to meet with our art students. And really, it's kind of this amazing kind of collection of students in this like hub, this beautiful barn space. And then the last couple, or I guess the last thing, opportunities for student growth outside of the curriculum. They're really developing social skills, personal skills, kind of studio thinking skills, as well as putting themselves out there in these performances 3 times a year. We have gallery shows for our art students, and then 2 times a year we have we have concerts, and then the 3 performances that we do. So students are really, like Iris was mentioning, have an opportunity to push themselves and show what they can do, as Sarah mentioned as well. So I think that kind of wraps up everything that I wanted to give as an overview. Catherine, I hope we're on time. So I will pass it off to you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And yes, you're definitely on time. Just want to, before we dig into Q&A, just want to thank all of you. This has been an incredibly robust, comprehensive, positive, and enlightening conversation surrounding our program. And as you can see, the audience, even though we're a small school of just over 200, we have a mighty, mighty, mighty visual and performing arts program, both from an academic lens and from a co-curricular lens. So we feel really special and honored to be part of a community that puts so much emphasis and focus on the visual and performing arts, and having such talented students and students that are willing to engage and try something new, but then also hone in on their crafts. So we feel really lucky every day to be at Chapel Hill Chauncey Hall with such an incredible community of faculty and staff and students. But just to dig into Q&A for a little bit before we wrap things up this evening, the first question I have is mainly directed to our students, thinking about, especially for like Sarah as a senior and Iris as a junior, you're kind of close to wrapping up your time at Chapel Hill. Reflecting on your time here, especially within the visual and performing arts, what has been the most valuable aspect of this department or these co-curriculars to you in your whole Chapel Hill experience?
I would say I could touch upon this, especially, having to leave here in a couple months. What has really helped me, I think I'm gonna talk about like the visual arts. What's really helped me gain confidence and that I can pursue art after high school. It doesn't just have to be some hobby. I think the diploma in arts, it forces you have to work outside of school and make art constantly, and it will not only prove to internships and colleges that I can do more work, it has proved to myself that I can do more work, and I can still enjoy it. It's not like something I'm forced to do or feels like another burden. It just proves to myself that I can do this. Like, this is something I want to do, and this is something I can do. I just never saw that as an option before, but and now I have. My plan is to go to college for psychology and then go to grad school to be an art therapist. And so I'm kind of combining my two loves into a job. And I think just having all these extra opportunities outside of school to pursue something that I really never thought I could do was just really awesome.
Yeah, so I already said a lot about the great things about performing art, but I still feel like uh, a lot of opportunities. It's very important to uh, performing arts since we need to perform, and like we have a lot of opportunities like concerts and musicals, and sometimes we have like sometimes NHS would hold coffee house, and we still have, and in the coffee house we also have a chance to like sing or dance to show ourselves. And I feel like these opportunities did bring us confidence. Like last year I have experienced that after the musical, one person came up to me and says, "Oh my God, Iris, I didn't know you can sing." And I'm like, "Now you know." So you really have opportunity to show yourself to the people, and it's really can bring you confidence.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And kind of similar, both you, Sarah, and Iris are talented artists who have had a passion for art for many years. But for students who might have never engaged in art before and are thinking about Chapel Hill and have always maybe been curious, but maybe a little scared, maybe a little reticent to kind of dipping their feet in, what kind of advice would you give them in terms of pursuing the arts here at Chapel Hill?
What I can say so I did my first art class at the high school that I was previously at, and I can say the difference between the two art classes from when I transferred was huge. Like the art class that I had at my previous high school, there were so many kids. The teacher kind of just taught something and then had us go do it because there were so many kids she couldn't like come around and actually like see what we were doing. And I think what's great about our program is that our teachers are invested in what we're doing and they want to know what we're doing. They want to help us achieve what we want to achieve. And that was crazy when I got here. I was like, whoa, you're actually giving me advice and helpfully critiquing me? That's insane. So I think that was really awesome to have because I know we're talking about confidence a lot and, just encouraging, but it really is true. And then in the performing aspects, like I said, I transferred mid-year. And when I transferred into theater tech because
We lost you there, Sarah, but we're
I
going to
mean,
give you a moment to come back. Oh no. Technical difficulties always hit at the most opportune moments.
and
Oh, I think we lost Sarah, but Iris, I don't know if you want to jump in and share your thoughts here.
Okay, so I'm kind of like the person, like you just said, wanted to try something new because theater was totally new to me. And I just want to say for those who really want to try something new, just go for it. I don't know other school, but at CHC, she really, the teacher really encourages you, and like they want to find a place where it fits for you if you don't know where to start. And I know that in performing arts, we have like classes for beginner and class for uh, student with experiences, and you can totally find a place where it fits for you, and you can always ask teacher for help, and they can also help you to develop the things you might be passionate about or the things you make good at. And I feel like they're very good at encouraging you and help you to find those stuff. So don't worry, just go for it.
Awesome. And so glad to see you back, Sarah. I don't know if you wanted to
Yeah,
finish out
sorry.
with
I
your
don't know
thought.
what
No, it's okay.
happened. It like just booted me. I don't know if you guys even heard what I got to say, but I'm glad I'm back.
Fantastic. And then our final question before we wrap up is for our faculty. So obviously the screen right in front of you says what sets Chapel Hill apart. But in your opinion, as a faculty member here, what do you think really differentiates our program, whether it be the academic program or co-curricular program, from other independent schools, and how students can really engage in the arts here?
I talked a lot, so Becca or Chris, do you want to jump in?
I can speak a little bit to kind of what I think sets apart, particularly our co-curricular program. Like I said before, we're no cut, and so we want students to really engage in whatever way is most comfortable for them, while also finding a place for them to be a little bit brave, to step out of that comfort zone a little bit, right? And to continue to build, to continue to grow, to find new things in themselves that they maybe didn't know existed before. And really take those skills outside of here and continue to grow into their young adulthood and further into their lives. I think, the two, Iris and Sarah, said it so beautifully, right? Just that what we are people who are incredibly passionate about what we do, and that we hope translates into what we are bringing to the table for them, and how, like I always think that I want my theater students to love theater as much as I do. That is like my biggest hope, is that they can engage a little bit and go, oh my gosh, this is so exciting to do. And so if there's just like a little taste of that, then we have done our jobs, and we have given them a place where they can excel, where they can shine, where they can be a little bit more brave.
This is Chris. I'm just gonna add quickly to what Becca was talking about, but to build on a few other comments that we heard this evening. When I arrived here 7 years or so ago, I had kind of hinted at this earlier, that I was really excited to find out that the school had a 2-year arts commitment. Again, that's a little different than what you find at a lot of other schools. And I think that, coupled with the idea that the school was just starting to wrap up its fundraising campaign for the new barn facility that's home to the Visual and Performing Arts Department. If you visit the campus, you'll be lucky enough to see it and to maybe get a sense of some of the great spaces that we have here. I think that all of those things coupled together indicated to me that the school is really committed to the arts. And I think that there are a variety of reasons for that. Thinking a little bit about the responses that Iris and Sarah offered to the question about what a new student should do in the introductory classes, or should do initially in the arts. One of the things that I like to talk about with the intro to visual arts students is that we are not just building some foundational skills like drawing skills or composition skills or color skills or something like that, but we're also developing what I like to call soft skills. Becca mentioned this a little while ago about the idea that, students really need to be able to speak in front of groups. And that's something that's not just going to happen in a theater program or, in some other sort of public speaking situation, something that they're going to have to do later on in meetings, in seminar classes. They're going to have to make presentations in all kinds of different contexts. And those are one of the things that we start to practice even in the visual arts programs. We are asking students constantly to kind of develop a voice and then to share that voice with their community, whether it's the classroom community, 7 or 8 students who they are sharing a class with, or whether it's in our gallery space downstairs where the trimester art shows happen. The student art shows are on display there right now. Or maybe in like a critique in the classroom, they have to get together, they have to sort of explain their thinking and be ready for people to ask them questions. I like to tell students that some of the things that we are doing, the things like risk taking and reflection and perseverance, coming back to a skill over and over to take multiple tries at mastering the requirement, whatever it is. Those are things that they're going to use in an arts class, but they're equally applicable out on the soccer field or in a science lab or over in the English department. So really, I think that the school is committed to the idea of this kind of holistic approach, offering some opportunities here in the arts, but also all over the school in the co-curricular program, in the boarding program, to allow students to really kind of build some of those skills that they're going to use in a whole variety of different contexts and to really start believing more in themselves as they're doing that.
Wow. Thank you, Becca, and thank you, Chris. So if this isn't an example of how incredibly unique our program is and how student-centered and focused and talent-driven, I don't know what is, but we want you to ask questions. We want you to engage with us. So you sat here through this presentation, you heard about our academic and co-curricular programs from students, from faculty, from staff, but we would love for you to come and visit. As Chris mentioned, we have an amazing visual and performing arts space called what we say is the barn, because there's some history. And if you go on a tour, you'll learn the history of the barn. But we want you to come to campus. We want you to see it. We want you to reach out to us, admissions@chch.org. You can connect with any of these faculty members through that admissions website or the students. We want you to engage with us. So we hope that you learned a lot about our visual and performing arts program this evening, but we also would love to tell you more about it and have you see it for yourself. So thank you, Sarah, for plugging our winter musical that's happening oh so soon. But we would love for you to engage. So if you are interested in learning more or speaking to our wonderful faculty and students, feel free to reach out to us at admissions@chch.org. Look at our calendar on our website, chch.org, of all of our upcoming events, including our winter musical, different concerts, our student showcases, and the like. Otherwise, thank you so much. I would love to thank all of our wonderful panelists. You all did such an amazing job showcasing and highlighting what makes our school truly unique and special when it comes to the visual and performing arts and what sets us apart from other independent schools, not just in the local area, but I think nationally. And thank you, audience, for taking part in this opportunity to share with you all the great things that Chapel Hill can provide to you. We hope you have a great evening, and we hope to see you on campus soon. All right. Thank you all. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.